Clever Mr. Brown, written by Joy Cowley. Mr. Brown was a very clever man. One day he cut down a tree. Then he sawed it into bits of wood. "See this?" he said. "I'm going to make us an aeroplane." "An aeroplane?" said Mrs. Brown. "Oh, my dear, you are clever." "I know," said Mr. Brown. "I've been clever all my life." Then Mr. Brown got some string and a chair and a door and a barrel. He got the engine from his car as well. "This will be the best aeroplane in the country," he said. "The best in the sky." "No one else could make an aeroplane out of that," said Mrs. Brown. "Why are you such a clever man?" "I can't help it," said Mr. Brown. "I was made that way." It was time to fly the aeroplane. Mrs. Brown got in the back. Then Mr. Brown climbed in. "Up, up, and away!" he shouted. But the aeroplane didn't go. Mr. Brown tried again. It still didn't go. "Ah, it's no good after all," said Mrs. Brown. "What?" said Mr. Brown. "You are a silly woman. Of course it's good. But it's not like other aeroplanes. That's all." Then he said, "Oh, I forgot. I made it to go from the top of a mountain. Come on, help me push." They pushed and they pulled. They huffed and they puffed. Little by little, they got the aeroplane up the mountain. "Now get in," said Mr. Brown, "and hold on to your hat. We'll fly very fast. Up, up we go." The aeroplane went fast, but it didn't go up. It went down, all the way down the mountain. Bump, bump, bump. The tail fell off, the wing broke. Then, crash! It stopped. It was caught in a tree. Mr. Brown looked at Mrs. Brown. "It has to stop in trees," he said. "That's the way I made it. Don't you think that's clever?" "But how do we get down?" Mrs. Brown asked. "It's a very big tree, my dear. We'll be killed if we jump." "Look what I've got," said Mr. Brown. "2 balloons, one for you and one for me." "Now, why didn't I think of that?" said Mrs. Brown. "Ah, well," said Mr. Brown, "we can't all be clever like me." "Oh, you are fantastic." "Of course, dear.